Hello, everyone. Melissa Rodriguez here, and I have a very special guest for you, Anthea Morphitis. She is a positive mindset coach and law of attraction practitioner. How are you, Anthea?
Hi, Melissa. I'm really good. Thank you. Thank you for having me today. Always good to connect and always good to say hi to everybody. So, hi, everyone.
Yes, such a blessing to come together and exchange energy. Every time we get to talk, I feel so blessed and so good from the energy exchange. So that's why I'm so excited for everyone to officially meet you and hear a little bit about your story.
Yeah. And I just, before we go any further, I just want to also say every time we connect, the energy is just phenomenal. And I couldn't ask for a better person to be connected with. And it's been fun to be sharing our stories, sharing our energy, sharing just all the amazing things that we've learned together and the growth that happens, because
Yeah.
I really do believe when you speak to people that speak your language, shall we say,
Mm,
you actually grow within yourself naturally because you just
absolutely.
bounce off of each other's ideas, bounce off
Yeah.
of each other's knowledge and wisdom with each other. So it's so good to be here. So thank you. And yeah.
Such a blessing. Yeah, always a good time. And I definitely feel the same. Such a beautiful thing when you come together and exchange energy and, you feel your spirits rise. It's just the best time. So let's hear a little about your story.
Right. I think what we'll do is I'll give you the story of coming across coming across the law of attraction. I'm going to say prior to 2009, I wasn't doing what I wanted to be doing in my life. I was kind of going along. I've been a single parent all my children's lives, so they're now 19 and 21. So 10 years ago, 11 years ago, they were obviously like 9 and 10 years old. And prior to 2009 of coming across The Secret, I literally was just kind of going through life, just working for money. And I think it's as straightforward as that.
Mm,
It was literally going to work just to provide for my children. It wasn't because I loved what I was doing, or it wasn't because I had a passion for anything. It just literally was. I've got to do this. I've got to provide for my children. It doesn't matter what it is. So I worked in like the corporate world. I was a PA, I was an I worked for an accounts department. I'd done lots of different office things. And I was miserable in what I was doing, to be honest with
wow.
you, just kind of plodding along. And then my weekends, trying to get the kids to take them out, do things. But my week was just boring and yeah, just miserable really. Although always been a very happy-go-lucky person, I'm smiling regardless. Inside, I got to say, it was deep inside me. I wasn't happy with my life. I wasn't happy with what was going on. I wanted more. I knew that there was something more to life. When you sit there and you
Mm,
think, this really it?
yeah.
And you ask yourself that question, it's just like, is this what life is? Waking up, going to do a job you don't want to do, waiting to get paid at the end of the month. You get paid, you pay out all your bills, and then you're just like, okay, I need to get paid again. Like, I knew that something didn't resonate with me with that.
Mm,
So let's fast forward a little bit, come to 2009. I came across The Secret, and it was like the heavens opened, like in the sense of, wow, everything made sense. It was like, whoa. So everything I'm thinking, everything I'm feeling is creating this outer world for me. And I thought, by hearing it, I just thought, okay, I can just do anything that I want, be, do, or have anything. And I really took that on board. So I quit my job and knowing that I've got 2 children at home and I've got to provide for them. But to me, it was like, oh, I've heard this, I can just do this. Well, I was very much mistaken. It doesn't work like that. There's a lot of subconscious thoughts that go behind it. There's a lot that you've got to retrain and reprogram your mind. You've got to learn different behaviors. You've got to learn to love yourself from inside. You've got to let go, right? You've got to let go of any resentment you have towards people. You have to forgive people. You have to forgive yourself. I mean, it's endless what the self-development part is before you get to that point of what The Secret talks about. So I got myself into a bit of a mess through that, really. So this is where like my life went from finding out about The Secret, it went into a big spiral, a very big downhill spiral. Cut a long story short, there was things that happened, but I ended up homeless with my 2 children, ended up with no job. The reason I ended up homeless was due to wanting to be brave and move abroad and bring my children over abroad. And then I ended up in a battle with my children's fathers through custody and all of that. That went on for a good few years. And that was, I couldn't go to work in the sense of it was a £40,000 court case. And obviously, if I went to work, then I would have to pay for that. So it kind of left me in this catch-22 situation, went through a lot. During that time, I had the social services trying to take my children away from me. I had the father of my daughter trying to take her. And I went into a very deep spiral, into very bad depression. Didn't know which way to turn. I'm going to use the word, I hated The Secret at that point. Wow. I was like, yeah, I literally was so upset with the fact that I thought I could just do anything, and I just did that because that's my personality. I'm always ready to do something new. And I was so upset with the whole concept of the law of attraction because I couldn't understand why did I have such a good plan that went so terribly wrong? How did I end up sleeping in cars? How did I end up sleeping on people's floors? How did I end up with no home? How did I end up with my children being fought for my children in and out of court all day, being questioned as a parent? It was continuous for years, and then I come to a realization that actually it's nothing to do with the law of attraction, it's nothing to do with The Secret. It was all the resentment I was holding towards life in general and how I started to feel. And I had to realize, I realized that I had to do something to change this around. So I really got back into understanding the law of attraction. I was like, look, it resonated with me the first time. I can work with this. So through everything, I started to look inwards rather than outwards. So all this outer thing was happening. And then I realized that actually the outer world is a reflection of my inner world. So I started to do processes. I started off by appreciating myself, like who I was as a person, as a mother, as a daughter, as a sister, as a auntie, I started appreciating me. And I started to forgive myself and everybody around me, everything that happened in court, all the people who got involved, the father of my daughter, I just had to sit and do big forgiveness, but not just say it. I had to feel that I honestly was forgiving everybody and everything around me. Now, day by day, I learned that by doing this, it started to change the outside world. And the reason I ended up getting into my own place was because I started to drive to the places that I wanted to live. And I started to sit outside of the houses that I wanted to live in, the area. And I'd done this every single day with my daughter. We would do it constantly. We'd sit outside and we started to imagine, we started to use our imagination at a different level. And I realized by speaking about my past, I kept on recreating my past daily. So what I was doing was I started to speak about what I wanted in the future. What did I want? What was it? What did I want to create for ourselves? And actually, because I started to feel what it felt like to live in a house again, to be with my children, to be reunited, to be able to cook dinner again, to be able to call them, and if I wanted to have a go at them, I could. Like, you know, like that little thing that you get with your children where you could just like, I don't know, play fight with them. Or if I wanted to, I used to miss telling them off for silly little things, and I miss them fighting, and you know, and all that stuff. I had to not miss it anymore, and I had to feel that it was already happening. So I used to hold keys in my hand and pretend I was opening my front door. I used to go into people's houses and pretend I was calling my kids down for dinner. So I made it real to myself, and I made it now. So, you know, slowly all these things that were happening started to change. And I was like, whoa, I get it. I get it. It's what goes on in here and what goes on in here that makes the difference out here.
Right.
So, and the next thing is step by step, the right people, the right circumstances, everything started to come into play. Next thing you know, I've got a house, I've got the money for my house, I've got a job that I was absolutely like, I actually sat down and asked for and wrote down exactly what I wanted in this job. And it was being freelance, being out there in sales, and I loved every moment of it. And I got that job, and I was in the house that I wanted, in the area that I wanted, and then I loved the law of attraction. I absolutely loved it, right? It was like, okay, I'm not going to feel that because this is now, I understand this now. So, and I'd always wanted to write a book. And it felt like the right time to actually write a book. Feel Good and Watch What Happens is the title that came to me.
Love it. I love that.
I knew that it resonated so much because it was like, okay, I felt so crap and my life was a hot mess. I turned things around by appreciating, by being thankful, by forgiving others, forgiving myself, letting go of resentment, doing all these things. And I started to really feel good about life before anything on the outside changed, by the way. I didn't wait for the outside to change to feel good. I felt good beforehand. And so I remember driving along going, what's the title going to be? What's the title? And I went, I got it. Feel good and watch what happens. And I was like celebrating that this is amazing. So I started to write my first book, and it was, I started to write everything what I've just told you just now, but more, and how I turned each situation around from a child all the way through, because I was able to look back and recognize the things that I'd done along the way, consciously and unconsciously, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and the journey just got better and better from there, to be honest with you. I then went on to write another book. I moved house again, I actually ended up homeless again, but this time for a much shorter period of time. Something I think sometimes you've got to learn, you've got to take on the lessons and implement the lessons, otherwise you have to relive it again. And there's obviously there was things that I didn't quite learn at that point, so I had to experience it again. My belief, this is completely how I see it. And so I experienced it again, but this time was completely different. I didn't go through the same thing. I booked myself into a hotel. I made sure there was money coming in. I was able to sell books. I was selling books left, right, and center. I was having fun with it. I was creating videos. I was giving as much inspiration to other people and my knowledge, my wisdom at the time. And I had so much fun that it was very short-lived, but I lived in beautiful hotels. It wasn't like, I made sure I got the best of the best until I was able to save up a big enough deposit to be able to go and get another house. And so I had so much fun. So I can't say, oh, I was homeless and it was crap, because it wasn't. The second time round was actually the the best of the best. So I must say I enjoyed it. So anyway, since then, I certified myself as a law of attraction practitioner. I then certified myself as a law of attraction wealth practitioner, so I can understand the wealth side of the thinking. I then certified myself. I then published another book at that time. I then published another book, and then I wrote another book. And I'm still haven't published that one as yet. But I've certified myself as a Ho'oponopono practitioner. And for people that don't know about that, it is the Hawaiian clearing technique. And then with the belief clearing practitioner was literally something I needed to do for myself to really understand the subconscious thinking and the conscious thinking. And here we are today. I'm now moved from the UK, come over to Cyprus that I originally tried to do 10, 11 years ago and went so horribly wrong. It's a dream that I've always wanted. I'm living my dreams out, and I'm now here with Melissa, and so blessed to be part of Melissa's group and part of everything we're doing together. We're creating some great content to help everybody else and guide. And so if people ever felt they've gone through anything that I just like spoke about and resonated in any way, shape or form, and that's very the short version of everything. However, it's a whole life. So now we're here where we are, and I'm just excited to share and get to know everybody and just, carry on being the best we can. And I just want to say it's all about in here and in here. And if you can change all of this, the outer world, right?
Yeah, that's so powerful. You pointed out so many amazing things, and what a great story that you have lived. What a great testimony to how powerful, going within is, and practicing the things we learn and actually applying them, and then seeing things shift in the outer world. I absolutely love how you were able to have fun with it too, because I think that's such a key part of, the whole process of applying the teachings. Just giving yourself permission to have fun and enjoy the process. And, then it takes you to a whole other level within, right? And that reflects and projects out into our outer world. So good. And congratulations on all your books. That's so amazing. That sounds so good.
And you're so right. It is. It's having fun. It's actually, I think we all take life way too seriously because of what's happening on the outside, right? But actually, you don't have. It doesn't have to be that way.
So true.
Yeah, especially when you have some kind of understanding, or you want to, you're ready to change in yourself. I think you're ready, not change you, but change what you're living daily. Have fun. Like me and my children had so much fun, I tell you. Like there was, okay, look, don't get me wrong. When everything first happened, we were in, like, it was hard. As in inside me, I was crying daily. I was upset, I was screaming at times. Why me? I used to say all the time, why me? And I think a main thing, what you were just saying, is taking responsibility for you and not blaming the outside world, because it's nothing to do with the outside world. It really hasn't. It's us. It's how if you spend your days, and it's so easy to blame, because blame is you can just say it was your fault, it's you, it's because of you, but it's not. It's not because of the other person. It's because of our perception towards them and what we're bringing back by seeing them in that light. Sorry, I'm going to end up going on and on and on.
No, that's so good, and it's so spot on. I think it's a common mistake that many people make with the law of attraction teachings. They think once they hear that it's all about the power of your thoughts. Okay, I can just think it and it appears. So I'm thinking of a hot Camaro right now. It's got to be in my driveway right now, you know? And it's not exactly how it goes. And I really, really found the power of taking self-responsibility so liberating. To me, that said, I have say, I have power in my life. I get to choose and decide. And I think that's such a powerful point you made. It's such a key point of it all, which leads into my next question, which is, what are the biggest things that really helped you transform your experience of this life from within? What are the biggest points that really, helped you in making a transformation from within?
I think the biggest things was opening my mind to be able to visualize. Visualization was big, because with the visual in your mind, you get to feel it. It's like when you can see, it doesn't matter if it's something that you perceive as good or bad. When you get that image, you get that reaction, don't you? That feeling.
Yeah, totally.
So, and I think that was so powerful for us, in every step of the way, because I knew when I would get an image of, let's say, a court case that was coming up, and I started to see in, like, let's say right at the beginning, it was very much in a bad way, as in I was fearing what was going to happen. There was a lot of anxiety going on. And the anxiety was because of the images in my mind, because of what I was scared could possibly happen, because I didn't realize that actually I'm in control of this. This is, like you rightfully said, we have the power inside us to actually create the outcomes. So I think visual is so important.
So important.
Yeah, and even like, it doesn't mean some people, like, I know my daughter said to me a few weeks ago, she says, Mum, not everybody can get the images how we get the images. And I said, it's a really good point. Like, I don't know everyone in the world. I don't know how, I know we all have a mind, but I don't know how everybody else works. And I thought that was a really valid point for her to say, because at the end of the day, maybe I can see things clearly, but maybe others can't. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong, or it's just that, we all have a different level of how everything works for us. So, but I think a visual you can actually do by watching videos. And I know I've done a lot of watching videos, because that helped me open my mind's eye to be able to see what that looks like and what does that feel like. And I think that's the second point, that with the visual and the feeling, like if you can feel, once I was able to feel what it felt like to have, have my book published, or have, become a certified practitioner in anything that I've done, or become a mindset coach, or be able to do videos. All of that was, again, it's a feeling, isn't it? It's like you got the visual, you got the feeling, and then you got the thinking side of things, where as we know, probably everybody's heard, or maybe if you haven't heard, like they say, scientists or experts say 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. That throws me like, whoa.
Mind blowing,
right?
Just stop and think about, totally.
60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. So that could be like, whoa. But actually, when you become aware, and you can take that time and stop for yourself every day. And this is what I'm going to say about thinking. Think about what you're thinking about, because that's what I kept on doing. Anthea, what are you thinking? Because I was naturally programmed to think of the bad things that had happened, because so much in my life appeared to be negative, that naturally my mind was programmed to bring them up all the time. So I had to become super aware. Okay, why are you thinking that, Anthea? What relevance has that got right now? Is that person in the room with you? No, they're not in the room. So why are you bringing them in the room? Why are you bringing them to your present moment? Has that bill come in yet? No. Has tomorrow come yet? No. Why are you worrying about paying for something that is in 4 weeks' time? Why are you bringing 4 weeks to now when there's no need to do that? So it was becoming so aware of my thinking process. And until today, I always ask myself, Anthea, what are you thinking? I still do it. I won't stop doing it because I want to become very clear in my mind. And those 60 to 80,000 thoughts, I don't, I know what thoughts go run through my mind. I can catch them now and I can look at them and know, okay, do I like you? No, I don't. You're living in my mind rent free. Go away. I don't give it no time, no energy. It's not, but it takes time to get there. These things don't happen overnight. They really don't. It does take determination. It takes a commitment to want to, it just takes that commitment to want to live differently.
Yeah.
If you want to be abundant or you want to be successful or you want to write a book or you want to start your own business, it doesn't happen by just being sad or feeling sorry for yourself or spending your days gossiping about people or being upset about what that person said or what that person done. I've been there, done it. It didn't get me anywhere. It got me nowhere,
Yeah.
It wasn't until I committed to me and said, right, I want to clear me out inside out, and I want to fill my cup up to the best that I can in love, appreciation, thankfulness, and feel what it feels like to be wealthy, feel what it feels like to serve others, feel what it feels like to hear other people change, have a shift and experience in their life, all of that. I had to feel that. So I think it's so important that you become super aware of how you think. That's big keys. And that's what, the visualizing, the feeling, and being super aware of how you're thinking and super aware how you feel. And I'm going to add one more into that, is be super aware of what comes out of your mouth.
So true. So right? True. The power of the spoken word. Absolutely. Yeah. So key. Yeah, that's so powerful. Everything begins with a thought. Everything was first a thought. So it's so powerful to be that tuned in to yourself, to become aware of what you're thinking and feeling. And what an amazing transformation your life has experienced because of these powerful processes that you've done. You're living your literal dream.
Literally.
How does that feel?
Oh, I love it.
Right? So amazing. Celebrating that with you. Oh, so good.
You. No, thank you. And it's like, I know with yourself, Melissa, like that journey of the transformation and, you know, where you're sitting now, right, this second as well. It's been it's gone from one side and you've taken probably the same steps as I've taken to come to where you are today, to be able to run a group the way you run this group and grown it to the place that it's at, and being able to interview people and be able to implement these things in your life. And actually, you know, once you're committed to yourself, then it can only go in the best way possible. Once you stop blaming people, right? And you literally claim that power back, because it's,
I say getting on your own team. Get on your own team. Instead of a war within and fighting against yourself and like self-sabotage and you're putting yourself down and you're doubting yourself. Like, doesn't it feel so much better to just show up on your own team? Like, you got this, you can do it. Like, to love yourself and forgive the past mistakes, which you didn't know at the time, you know, so key. It's like living asleep. You're just going through the motions on autopilot from everything that you've learned and experienced and heard. That your story really resonates with me, because 17 years ago I was a hot mess, and you know, that's kind of my thing. My word, like, hot mess was literally what described it. My relationships were in turmoil, everything, like, and seeing the power of applying the teachings and how it not only transforms your life experiences, but most importantly, It transforms your experience from within of living this life. And so you just have such a beautiful story. I'm so, so blessed for you to share it with everyone. What are your 3 maybe biggest tips for people that are maybe feeling like they're broke, they don't have enough, maybe they're feeling down or stuck or just wishing life would get better? What are 3 things they can start to do now that would help them to transform their experience?
I think number one, I think the trying to think what was the first thing that I really done. And I think it's having a sense of responsibility for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think if you can look at yourself and say, right, what do I want? What is it I really want in my life? And I think it's ask yourself those questions and realize that nothing's on the outside, everything's within you. I think that is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself, because blaming someone else is giving them the power.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, why would you want to give your power away to people and make it seem, you know, it's like saying, well, you've got control of my life. Well, no, actually, nobody has control. So I think asking yourself questions and really taking that time to ask yourself, what is it? What can I change? Who can I forgive? What can I do different? How can I show up in the best version of myself today? What can I do for me that will then, you know, go out there to the world? Like, I'm trying to think of the word. I've lost the word that I could possibly do. 1 second, because my laptop's about to die. My apologies.
Okay.
Sorry, it's going to get my charger.